What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it is Lions Talk Live. It is Monday. It is 1.5-ish weeks until the NFL draft, and we've been talking about it all off season. The closer and closer you get to the draft, you're going to have more speculation, more people saying, hey, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. This guy's going up, this guy's going down. We all get it. It's that time of year, and you just need to strap yourself in and embrace the moment. Don't run from the moment, because you know what? I don't think there's anything any of us can do to get away from the moment. So we talked about this a couple days ago on Lions Talk Live. There were some rumors, speculation. You had multiple different people, including Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, etc., our true NFL insider, saying that there is a team in the top 10 who has reached out to the Detroit Lions out about a potential trade. Whether or not you think it's going to happen, I don't know. I guess anything is possible, but we're going to get into that. I got compelled, last night to say, hey, if this went down, what would it cost Detroit, and who could we be targeting? We're going to get into that during the main topic of the day. Before we do, though, before we get into the 5 headlines now and all that other stuff, hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march for 13,600 subs. And we are roughly, 78 subs away from it. So if you can help out with that, that would be most wonderful and excellent of you. Also, if you have half second of time, it's free of charge, doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, hit all the buttons, help the channel out. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly, never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States of America, go ahead and call me, text me, send a carrier pigeon my way, maybe try a smoke signal. Whatever works best for you, just let me know what to do and looking for it. But if you need somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, I've been in it for over 30 years, knows the ins and outs, can walk through a property and tell you, yeah, that's a bad thing. Yes, that's not a big deal. Look at this, look at that. Look out for any kind of predatory lender overcharging you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want somebody who's going to work on your behest, make sure you don't get jobbed. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. See if I can help you on out, try to save you some time, save you some money, save you some effort, and get you that new property, vacant land, commercial property, whatever it is, fallout shelter, storm shelter, place on maybe Jupiter or Mars. Go ahead and call me, text me. We'll have a brief conversation. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's go ahead and get this show moving forward and get into the first segment, which is, as you know, 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines heading your way. Big Trey Hendrickson trade and 3 deals Lions can't refuse. It's an offer you can't refuse. In 2025 NFL Draft Sideline Report, Mike Luciano with this one. So whether or not any of these trades go down, who knows? I would say this, especially the week leading into the draft, take all information with a grain of salt, because you know what? There's a whole lot of speculating going on. Either way, though, let's get into it. All right. Number 4 on this list from Luciano is Lions add much-needed young guard in Zion Johnson. Lions get interior offensive lineman Zion Johnson. Chargers get 2025 4th-round pick, number 130, in case you're wondering, and 2025 7th-round pick, number 228. Chargers signed Mekhi Becton, and Andre James in free agency, which could be a tell that they are hesitant to give Johnson a big long-term contract. So this is all from Luciano. My thing is, do any of us really think the Lions are going to trade for an offensive lineman and then give them a big contract? I say no overall, but you know what? I've been wrong before. Let's not forget he was the 17th overall pick, reliable starter. Lions clearly are probably going to try to address the interior offensive line, unless I guess they think that the Giovanni Manu or somebody else is going to ascend into that role. I don't really see this one happening, but you know what? It's speculation week. It's going to happen. You're going to get all the sorts of stuff. Number 3 on Luciano's report for suggested trades, I guess. Lions trade for former top 5 pick Kayvon Thibodeau. Lions would get Kayvon Thibodeau. Giants would get 2025 third-round pick. Number 102. You know, if this went down, I wouldn't be upset about it, especially for a third-round pick. Thibodeau could unofficially be demoted on the Giants. There's a lot of speculation about that. He's had some good moments in the NFL. He just hasn't had consistent moments. Thibodeau had 21 sacks in 3 seasons. Has been good, but not great. I think most of us, that's the problem. You drafted him that high, the number 5 former first-round pick. Expectations are up here for someone like that. His production has been more around here. And again, not that it's been bad. It just hasn't been, great. So could the Lions potentially pull off a trade for Thibodeau for a third-round pick? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What are your thoughts? Out of these first 2 trades, are there any you would really go for? Let me know in the comment section. All right, number 2 on his board, Lions take big offensive line swing with Elijah versus Tucker. Lions get Elijah versus Tucker, the 2025 fourth-round pick, number 110. Jets, the Jets, Aaron Glenn, Jets, would get a 2025 second-round pick. You know, this one probably isn't terrible. You're keeping the same amount of picks, and you pick up a player of interest. He was the number for, not only the Jets interested in picking up offensive linemen, but the number 7 overall pick, Verse Tucker, is not under contract beyond the season. Verse Tucker has some major injury concerns. Man, it sounds like a Brad Holmes move right there alone. Jokes intended with that one. But he does have, let's be fair, he does have some versatility. He can play multiple spots on the offensive line. Again, would you give up a ton? Would Brad Holmes seemingly give up a lot to get somebody on a 1-year deal? Maybe. And then the last of Luciano's suggested trades. Hey, I didn't want to put this one in the thumbnail or anything like that. I'm kind of over it. But Lions would go for broke for Trey Hendrickson. Lions get edge Trey Hendrickson, 2025 5th-round pick, number 153. 2026 4th-round pick from the Bengals. Bengals would get 2025 1st-round pick, 28 overall, 25 7th-round pick, 228 overall, and 2026 3rd-round pick. I won't spend a lot of time on this one. If you guys are okay with it, just let me know in the comment section. I think we all get Hendrickson would add a whole lot to that defensive line. Lions would also have to give him a bag of cash either now or in the foreseeable future. Otherwise, why would you make the move for him? Again, sort of like we talked about some of these other trades. Luciano, hey, I get he's writing stories. He's trying to come up with content. I'm not going to, hold that against the guy. But do any of us believe with all the guys we've drafted that are coming up that need contracts, are you going to bring in an outsider, give up a bunch of draft capital, and now have to pay a big contract to one of those guys? I guess we'll wait and see. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions 3 sleeper prospects to target in NFL draft clutch points. Story by Lorenzo J. Wren. We'll go into this one. And hey, who doesn't like to talk about some of those mid-round pick sleeper guys? Number 1 on his list is Iowa State star wide receiver. We've all speculated the Lions could be going after a wide receiver. It would make sense, especially if it was a bigger, fast receiver. John Morton's offense, we're all assuming, is going to be a vertically based offense, kind of a throwback to the 80s, early 90s, you can even say the 70s. For those who don't know, though, the person being targeted here is Jalen Higgs of Iowa State. We all get it. He's 6'4.5", 220 pounds, blazing speed, ran the 40 in 4.47. He's got vertical, basically a 40-inch vertical leap. So he's got a lot of good things. Probably a 3rd to 4th round value is what is being suggested here. And I don't think I would be upset about it if you could get someone like him. Maybe have him kind of take his time, his rookie year. Tim Patrick ascend into the number 3 role like he did last year, and then beyond that, if Higgs does develop, then you know what? You've got somebody who can kind of long-term replace Timmy Patrick there. Next on this list for, I guess you could say, mid-round grades or sleeper targets for the Lions to go after. Lions bolster speed and blue-collar attitude with a linebacker. Is it possible? It is possible. And, you know, according to this, that would be UCLA. We don't like those guys if you're a USC fan, by the way. Carson Schwinger. And, yes, that is with a SCH, by the way. But he's got a mix of size, speed, all over the place. I'd say he's very Rodrigo-like. So if you don't think you can keep Rodrigo, or if you get any kind of questions about the ACL, or maybe you just don't want to give him another contract, could you go after Carson Schwinger? Yes, you could. And I think he would kind of more or less offset the loss of Rodrigo if that's what happens with Lions. And then the last of these three potential sleep-around picks, Dan Jackson of Georgia can set the tone at safety and on special teams. We all get it. Lions want guys that can do multiple different things. What are you getting with Dan Jackson out of Georgia? You're getting somebody who can play the gunner spots on special teams. He can play inside on special teams. And you know what? The Lions are probably going to try to address the safety position now that Iffy's gone. Unless they really believe Lawrence Strickland is ready to ascend and be that number 3 on a permanent basis safety spot, then you know what? You're going to probably try to bolster it. If nothing else in the draft, I wouldn't be upset about this guy. He flows to the ball real well, goes sideline to sideline. If you haven't checked out any of these guys, I encourage you today, this week, whatever, to spend a couple minutes, go ahead and watch some video on all three, because I do think all three are potential opportunities for the Lions. All right, next to the 5 headlines now, Detroit Lions 2025 draft, a history of the 28th overall pick and its outcomes. Story by Ryan Love of Lions Wire. You know, hey, we're all wondering what the Lions are going to do at the 28th pick. Today's main topic has us trading up. But there has been speculation the Lions could stand pat, just like there's been speculation the Lions could move into the top 20, like number 19, 20, 21, just like there's been speculation we can move back. If you look at the history in just recent years of the 28th overall pick, last year, Kansas City Chiefs, Xavier Worthy. We all get him, a wide receiver, fast wide receiver. Cincinnati Bengals, the year before, Miles Murphy, that's a defensive end. Green Bay Packers, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle. New Orleans Saints, Peyton Turner, defensive end. Patrick Green, linebacker for the Baltimore Colts in 2020. Los Angeles Chargers, Jerry Tilley, the defensive tackle. Pittsburgh Steelers, Terrell Edmonds, safety. Taco Charlton, hey, we probably most of you guys know him, defensive end for the Cowboys. 49ers had Joshua Garrett, guard. And then in 2015, Lions, Laken Tomlinson. And that's right. The Lions kind of messed that one up because, you know, the guy had actually a very good long career in the NFL, but just couldn't get on the field for the Lions. Dive into that another time. If you want to talk about some all-time greats at the 28th pick, the proof that you can get, you know, generational talent at the 28th pick. Don't forget 1983, Washington took Darryl Green. And most of you guys probably know who Darryl Green is, but for those who don't know, he may have been the fastest DB and one of the best DBs in NFL history. And I'm not going to say he was the best, but he's in the conversation for being someone being up there. 2-time Super Bowl champ, named to the all-90s, all-decade team, 7-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer. You get it, a ton there. 1995, Tampa Bay Buccaneers took Derek Brooks, linebacker, Hall of Famer, 11 Pro Bowls. 5 All-Pros, Super Bowl champ, 2002 Defensive Player of the Year, and then 2007 San Francisco 49ers took Joe Staley, 6 Pro Bowlers, a generational left tackle. You guys get it, 13-year NFL career, 2010's All-Decade team. So you can get good value at the 28th pick. Will the Lions be that team that takes the next great generational guy at 28? Wait and see. Open thread. Who is your favorite day 2 option for the Lions? SB Nation story by Jeremy Risman. You know, Risman covers the team for a living. This is what he does on a day-in, day-out basis, and he does break down a ton of different people. Georgia guard Tate Ratledge is on the list. Could be somebody definitely out there. Why would he be a target? Risman goes on to it. Tate Ratledge is an offensive guard prospect in the 2025 draft class. He scored a 9.96 RAS out of a possible 10.0. This ranks 8th out of 100 out of 1,730 offensive guards from 1997 until 2025. So we get it. If you look at the history of the NFL in the last 30-ish years, 40-ish years, this guy is just generationally rare when it comes to athleticism. Take a moment today, take a moment tomorrow if you haven't seen him, and go watch him. We talk about the Lions offense under John Morton. They were anticipating the vertical threats. Well, you're going to have to be able to block and hold at the line for a couple of seconds for guys to get downfield. Beyond that, we also talk about Johnny Morton wanting to use a lot of pulls, trap plays, get misdirection going, try to force delayed rushes from the defensive tackle, blitzers, or whatever, because the Lions will use some misdirection on the runs. And you know what? Ratledge fits that mold to a T. He can block downfield. He can get out wide. He's got it. And you know what? There's a couple things you could say with any draft pick you need to clean up when you get to the NFL level. This kid, I wouldn't be depressed if we went out and got him. Will we go out and get him early versus later? Wait and see, I guess. All right, and then the last of the 5 headlines now. 4 bold 2025 NFL draft predictions for the Bears, Packers, Vikings, Lions, Chicago Bears on SI.com. Story by Pete Manerick. So I brought this on not because it was specifically Detroit Lions related, but kind of gives an idea from somebody who's in the division, a reporter, and examining the entire division. So let's walk through it real quick. We won't spend a lot of time on it. Number 1, Green Bay Packers select a first-round wide receiver. That would be very Packers-like. They made a commitment to Jordan Love. We all get it. And while they might have overall the deepest allotment of wide receivers in the division in the NFC North, there's no real star there. There's a bunch of real good guys, but no star. Could it be the Packers try to address that by going after somebody? This reporter thinks yes. Detroit Lions don't make a first-round selection. So in the main topic that you get it, we're talking about Lions moving up in the top 10 and the evidence that suggests that could happen. There is some out there that think the Lions could trade out of the 28th pick. Let's not forget, there will be a lot of teams that are quarterback starved. They're going to want to trade up into the first round towards the end of the first round if 1 or 2 quarterback prospects fall where they can get that 5th-year option. So, hey, I can develop the guy for a year, maybe 2, and still control that contract for a couple more seasons. I think Detroit is in a pretty good spot if that's where they choose to go. What would Detroit get in return? You're probably looking at Detroit getting at least 1 second rounder out of it and maybe 2, or if not a second rounder, then maybe a 3rd rounder on top of it. But I think the Lions could do pretty well and get a haul if they wanted to trade that 28th pick to a team who's quarterback needy and, again, wanting the 5th-year option. All right, 3rd, Minnesota Vikings draft a running back round 1, and then a 4th, Chicago Bears trade up 5 spots for Ashton Gentry. And, hey, I know a lot of you guys don't want to see that running back in Chicago, think they've got enough weapons on offense. He started getting a little nervous. I could also see this going down where the Bears just say, hey, we've got a ton of young talent. We do have some draft capital. Let's move up and get that guy. We'll see if this shakes out. But this is coming from a Bears full-time reporter. See what they say. All right, I know you're all here, and it's Monday, so let's get over to the main topic of the day and talk about it. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys had to say on it. Again, this is a report that's gone on for 3 or 4 days now, and again, coming from different levels throughout the sources of the NFL. Ian Rappaport, though, is a full-time reporter. We all get it from the NFL Network. Sometimes you can find him on Rich Eisen or ESPN, but he's not the only one reporting this conversation's going down. Let's dive into it right now during the main topic of the day. So you guys know me. I like to Scooby-Doo. I like to investigate. Hey, that's part of why, I wanted to become a journalist and did become a journalist. Whether it was, covering sports or courtroom drama, I do love diving into stuff and trying to analyze it. Let's see what you guys think of this. So you all know it, a couple days ago, we talked about it on the show. The Lions apparently have had some conversations with the New Orleans Saints. Saints need somebody to kind of replace Derek Carr. Derek Carr's beat up. He's hurt. He is getting a little bit older. And that contract for older quarterbacks tends to go up. There was speculation from multiple different sources that the Saints contacted the Lions about Hendon Hooker. That got everybody in the Duke crew talking. If this really went down where the Lions went up all the way to number 9, who would you take? So I started breaking it down. Let's try to examine it. And again, this thing isn't foolproof, so don't get upset if I don't nail the first round, the first 8 picks 100% correct. So I've got number 1, Cam Ward, going to Tennessee. Abdul Carter, hey, if we could have traded up and get that guy, I think every Lions fan would go crazy. Travis Hunter to the Giants. I mean, any of this could change around. I don't know the other teams as well, but Will Campbell to the Patriots. And then you guys see the entire order. I guess the one you can't see, hold on, let me see if I can clean this up a little bit on the screen so you can see the, Shamar Stewart goes number 8 overall. So what does that mean to the Lions? Well, let's see if I can bring this on over. And again, I tried to do this as best I could to make it as big a opportunity for us to debate what could the Lions be going after. And let me get this other thing off the screen. Hey, we're doing this all live on air, so forgive me. All right, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go. That's probably as good as it's going to be, so work with me. So who's still left in the draft at number 9? Well, we got Mason Graham, and I'm sure you all would be jumping up and down to get him onto the Detroit Lions. I would too, to be honest. Gentry, we already talked about him, running back. I think the Bears would try to go him, but you know what? Number 9, you do leapfrog the Bears to go get him if you so wanted. Shedeur Sanders, could he really fall? I just think there's so many quarterback needy teams. Maybe he goes before us in the top 8, which if he did, man, oh man, that pushes another opportunity or option down to us. Ty Warren, hey, we got Walker there. You got Banks. So let me ask you, there's Mike Green. I know a lot of you guys like Mike Green. They've got him ranked as number 16 on the board. I don't think we're going for a wide receiver, but I've been wrong before. Derek Harmon, a lot of us have speculated, but I guess that's the big question. And that's what I'm asking you guys. If the Lions were to make this move, and I don't think it's that egregious, because while we're looking at all this, let me take this off the screen. Hold on a second. And there we go. Here's what I got as far as draft value. So I try to use the latest value chart for everything. And I think in this trade scenario, the Lions actually overpay a little bit, which doesn't sound like a Brad Holmes thing. But if you're going to compel a team to give up the number 9th pick and move back to number 28, first look at that team. There are a couple teams, and that's part of, if you guys remember about a month and a half ago, whatever it was, that I did the first Lions Talk Live mock draft. I had us trading up to number 15 because the Atlanta Falcons need draft picks. They also need some cap flexibility. That's why I thought it was an ideal spot for the Detroit Lions. And I had us trading up. I had us getting Pierce Jr., whether or not it's him or somebody else, who knows? We'll lay that for another show. But then I started looking at what Ian Rappaport and the other reporters were saying about the Lions potentially moving up to number 9 with the Saints. And I was like, man, is this draft value really that egregious? So here's what I got. Lions get pick number 9 and 93. The Saints get Hendon Hooker, by the way. I put him on the wrong side there. But pick 28-60 in Detroit's 2026 third-round pick. So they would get those 3 picks plus Hendon Hooker. And again, apologies for putting Hendon Hooker on the wrong side. But for Hendon Hooker, that's probably a win because you do have an opportunity to get out there and play. I guess it all comes down to some of us as Duke Crew members think that Hendon Hooker, he probably isn't that great or something. That's the reason why Teddy Bridgewater came up, played as the number 2 quarterback in the draft, in the playoffs last year. So I'm not here to debate that. Come to your own conclusions on that. What I can say is other teams are quarterback needy. You look at the draft class this year, and it's not great for quarterback. It's not great at all. So if you don't want to wait another year, and in this scenario, Shedeur Sanders is probably, after Cam Ward, he's probably considered the second best quarterback in this class, and we don't even have him going in the top 8. Now, could somebody else take him in the top 8? Absolutely. That's totally debatable, but you all get it. After that, I guess you'd say Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart are the next best ones. So again, if Detroit doesn't trade out, if they stay at 28, that's where I think the Lions really could get a team trying to trade up to get one of those guys just so they get the 5th-year option. I could totally see the Lions getting a gluttony of picks at 28 to do it. If not the Lions, somebody else around there. But for that draft scenario too, with us moving up to number 9, who do you have the Lions taking? I guess most of you are going to say probably Graham from Michigan. And hey, if he falls to number 9 and the Lions get him, I think we're all pretty happy about it. If he doesn't, and that also means, let's just say Graham goes, I don't know, number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I don't know, somewhere in that top 8, then somebody else falls. Who else could fall? Could it be Will Johnson? That's a possibility. Would you guys be upset about getting Will Johnson? I don't think most of you would. And Detroit's secondary now looks pretty dang good. Could it be Stewart? We have talked about, hey, the Lions draft incredibly high off their top 30 visits board. Well, who have the Lions talked to him? Yes, they have a couple different times. And, you can speculate each and every one of the picks there. But when you look at what we're required to give up to go get them, would you be upset with it? Me, myself, and I, the 60 or 30, 90, trading the 60th pick, our 60th pick, for the 93 pick, who cares? I mean, Detroit's going to be able to get somebody of value there and a position need. Next year's 2026 third-round pick, I don't care if we're getting into the top 10. 28th for number 9, I don't have a problem with it. Hendon Hooker, if you don't believe he's the guy here, why not move on from him? And I guess that's why I'd say get value for him now versus not being able to resign him in the future. I think it's a real good opportunity for Lions fans to sit back and say, hey, I don't care what we do with the pick. I don't care if we trade up, trade back, stay, sideways, whatever. Lions are in a real good spot and probably better than most of us anticipate. Ian Rappaport did say that, hey, Lions are talking to the Saints. Saints want Hooker. He did note, just so we're all on the same page, he did note they were talking to some other teams about some backups. But again, looking at this year's rookie quarterback class, it's not great. Hendon Hooker, well, he's not a rookie. He is a little bit older, but that also means he's more mature. You don't have to go some of the growing curves that you would with a 20, 21, 22-year-old, just getting adjusted to life. He's got a pretty good head on his shoulder. I don't think we've heard any kind of negative things about his personality, his demeanor, what he's doing off the field or anything like that. So he's not a distraction there. Now you look at the measurables. He's got a rocket for an arm, a cannon. He's got, a big body, big frame. So I get the value for some teams saying, hey, we would want to go get him. And if we can acquire more draft capital in return, that sounds like a win. I've talked about this probably way too long. What do you guys have to say? Me, myself, and I, 1, I would make the trade. 2, if Graham really is on the board, I'm probably taking Mason Graham because you know what? The chance of getting somebody else like him in the foreseeable future for the Detroit Lions probably isn't high. I'm probably not going for, I guess you could go for Walker, but I just don't see him fitting in here. But he would give the Lions a lot more athleticism in that front. Now, again, if somebody else fell down in the draft more, maybe Stewart, and Stewart, I wouldn't be sad with either, especially since he would fit that big defensive end frame that the Lions like. He is roughly, 270 pounds. He's 6'5". He ran the 40 and 4.59, I want to say. I mean, you get it. He's got all sorts of stuff. He's got a 40-inch vertical. He's got basically an 11-foot broad jump. You get it. The whole shebang bang. He does fit, and he's got a big RAS score at 10 too. So, all right, Duke Crew, let's turn over to you guys. See what you guys have to say about all this. Again, if it's me, that's the cost. I'm probably doing it, and I'm probably smiling all the way to the bank. But, hey, I'm not you. Let's see what you have to say. JDC, morning all. Back at you. Johnny L, good morning. Same to you, my friend. Detroit D, greetings and salutations, Duke Crew, and always good to see you, D. Let's see, Moonscar, good morning. Duke Crew, starting a lot of them. Can't wait for the draft. Me either, man. And I know we've all talked about it before. This is probably one of the more anticipated Lions drafts, just for all the stuff we already said. You could trade up, you could trade back, you could stay pat, and I think the Lions are going to get a win out of it. And Kerry, good morning. Early, Duke Crew, back at you. Clark, yo, Coach D, and the Duke Crew. If this is the story with New Orleans, then that's the one I read Saturday. They seem to want Hendon badly. And again, if you look at the rookies, I guess here's what I'd say. Do you feel like you're overpaying to use a top 10 pick on one of these rookie quarterbacks? And are there enough red flags with some of them where you're like, hey, I can still have the 28th overall pick, get another pick in return, and then still get a rookie-ish quarterback that I can put on the field. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you, Johnny L. Yo, JDC, I can't wait for this to be over and get the season started. Yeah, I think we're all chomping at a bit this season, but we got the draft, we got the schedule release. I mean, we got training camp. We got a few things to get through before, Johnny, we get to the regular season. We all get it. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations. Yes, I firmly believe Brad is ringing those phones, working on something of a move upwards. I can see us getting to about 18, top 10. That seems a bit too much. That's what I thought, Eddie, until I broke down the NFL trade values board. And again, I don't know if I'm doing it 100% correct. I believe I'm pretty spot on with it. I even had the Lions overpaying a little bit to acquire it. We'll see if it shakes. Brett, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, Lions Talk Live, and coffee to start the day. Oh, yeah. Hey, you got to love the coffee, my friend. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. I get that, Johnny, but we've got months of downtime until the season arrives. Yeah, we've got whatever it is, 4 more months, 5 more months until the season gets here. I'm Mike DeMarine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and Duke Crew. Can't wait for the excitement of draft night. Woo! Yeah, and just getting through that first round is probably going to give us some pretty good information. I won't be surprised any of the directions the Lions go. Just greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Okay, I'll bite. Who do we go after if we are jumping the number 10? I think, and it's just my thought, it's Stewart or Graham, because both of them would fit positions of need for the Lions. Will Johnson, I guess if he slipped down to number 9, hey, would you be upset about having him? You guys all probably know him and everything. He would not be a bad cornerback to have and add to the mix. Me, myself, and I'd rather go on the line before I go into the secondary, but that's just my personal preference. JDC, Johnny up, tick, tick, tick. You got to keep it ticking there, JDC. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Duke, exclamation point. I love the offseason conversation and all, but there is no way the Lions trade into the top unless they see a generational talent, which I don't see in a position of need. Marcus, I can only offer my thoughts. I don't think you're egregiously overpaying, especially if you get that, whatever it was, 93 overall pick and return. You move down some spots, yes, but if you could get Graham or Stewart, I think you pull that trigger. I mean, that's just me. That's my take. I like both of them that much. Gary, I believe Brad already has a plan about what he's going to do. I see what you did there. Already in order and has for some time now. Yeah, I think at this point, it's probably just ironing out some the details with any team you're potentially talking to. My guess is just about every general manager is walked through about 10 different scenarios. If this happens, that happens on draft day in the first round. Here's what we're going to do. That doesn't bring itself to us, then we're going this route. So I think you're right. Man, good morning all. Same to you. Marcus, I agree that the Lions will make a trade, but it won't be this high. Yeah, it could be. It could be. I personally, on my draft, like I said, I had us moving to number 15. David, is Hooker really a part of other teams' wish list? Question mark. If so, are they not? Oh, why are we not keeping him? Good quarterbacks are hard to find at the NFL level. The only thing I can say, Dave, is that if you feel like Goff is your long-term guy, then you're not really getting anything out of Hooker. Why not trade that asset to get something, especially if you feel like there's not a big, need for a backup quarterback or a high-value one? That's the only thing I can think of. Robert, greetings, salutations, one and all. Same to you. Drake, we've been giving up a lot to move up to the top 10. Who's worth that move? I'll leave that to you to debate. Henry, good morning. Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Thank you for that. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you, Henry Moore. Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you. Man Bear, I don't think Brad will sell the future for a top 10 pick when it makes sense. Yeah, and I've said it before. I'd have zero interest in trading any future first-round picks or second-round picks. But maybe a third or something like that I could probably tolerate. Marcus, happy birthday, Coach Dan Cable. 100% with that. Happy birthday, MCDC. Thomas Bates, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. And same to you. France, 2 weeks to go, Duke Crew. Brace yourself for one heck of a rocky ride between now and then. Probably wise words are being spoken there. Anymore? How about a Monday morning woo for the crew? You want a woo? I'll give you a woo. How about a 1 and a 2 and a 3 as I scroll down the screen? And there you go. Thomas, happy birthday, Coach Shane. All right. I'll go with that. Thomas, happy birthday, Coach Dan. There you go. Some server Marcus. Coach Campbell's birthday was yesterday. For next time. Hey, no worries. Day late, buck short. Nothing wrong with that. Johnny out. Talk. JDC. There you go. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. The team has a plan, and I trust that plan. If we move up, that means the right player fell in the draft. Yeah, and I think you're spot on with that. I don't care who you think the Lions are taking. The only way they're pulling that trade is if the player they want is there. Phil, good morning. Back at you. Server, right 70. Trust the plan and trust the process, I'd say. Susan, good morning. All Brad won't overpay for a hamburger, let alone the draft. Probably very true. Take a deep breath. I'll go with that. Marcus, I know, Server, I wasn't in the chat yesterday, but thanks for correcting me. Yeah, no worries, man. It happens. Brent, I see Brad moving up, but not to the top 10 would cost too much. Yeah. What do you guys think of those costs I put out there? I was actually kind of surprised when I looked at the value chart that this was achievable, at least from those metrics. Gary, I'm hell bent on Harmon, Ivy, and resigning Z. We'll see if we can do that for you. We'll see if we can. Johnny L, it's going to just fine. Yes, it will be just fine. Voltron Force, people complaining about spec videos. I need to ask, what do you want to talk about the week before the drafts? Question mark. Shake my head. Go chase the weather reports for a week. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Hey, who doesn't want to know what's coming with the weather? It's going to be just fine. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that, Johnny. Phil, still wondering which college on the east side of Henry State offered coach a job. SU. No, I don't think they have an opening right now. It was a college that had an opening, and just Jen said no. We'll put it that way. Just like she doesn't want me going back overseas. It makes me cry because I actually like the overseas market, man. I think it's fun as heck, man. Five Fingers Friday. If we move into the top 10, that would be as close to as Brad, would ever be to skip them picks. I would probably agree with that. I would say, yeah, if they pull off this trade, that you're probably right. That's probably as close to him pushing all of his chips in the middle of the table. Yep. Out of the state? No, it was in the state of Michigan. Sosa Malone, good morning, everyone. Who's ready for the draft? This guy. Hey, I think we're all ready for the draft. I think it's going to be a lot of fun with it. Trim Reaper, maturity isn't an age. It is a destination. Yes, thank you for that, Scotty Mitchell, for those wise words of wisdom. Trey, who would we draft at number 10? That's a great call. Yeah, Mason Graham. That would be my leading target, or Stewart. Shamar Stewart, one of those two. I don't see it being anybody on the offensive side of the ball. Quitting greetings, salutations, y'all. Move up in the draft and get someone who starts today. Boy, don't need anybody sitting and learn for a year or two. That would be the other part of it, I guess you could say, is that, at the 28th pick, maybe there's a little bit more likelihood somebody could have to sit for a bit. But if you really feel like that impact player that you could get in the top 10 would, hey, jump in, start. I know Pierce Sargent would be happy that Davenport isn't starting. If you could get that guy, would you pull it? I would. Johnny L, I want to see some Sonic and Knuckles. You'll probably see it at the start of the season. Detroit D, I want Mike Green, but I'm not sure at 10. Yeah, to me, D, and I'm wrong before. That's one of the two guys I had us targeting at number 15 when the first mock draft I did, where I said, hey, we're going to trade into the top number 15 and go after. I had James Pierce Jr., but Mike Green, maybe he is the right call there. Phil, add the Hulk and Iron Man. Hey, get them all, especially Iron Man's wallet, right? Pat, the draft grows near. It does indeed. Trim Reaper, hit all the buttons. Yes, if you would, please, that'd be great. JDC, Victor was mature. There you go. Detroit D, Mason Graham would be a nice pickup. Yes, he would, especially if he fell to number 9, which I think is possible. I would think somebody takes him, but it just depends on how much offense goes out of those first couple picks. Phil, Low, L, all right, all the above. Paul was revered. All right, Paul was revered. JDC, laughing out loud. Brent laughing. Phil, Paul was a new man. Yes, he was. Detroit D, just hope we don't ever pick doesn't have an injury history. Whoever we pick doesn't have an injury history, also have immediate impact. Yeah, and my guess is if you're really making this move, as Ian Rappaport and some of the others are suggesting, you got to get somebody who's going to come in, you're anticipating at least day one, and play. See, Stephanie, I think it's Graham. Yeah, me too. Phil, unless we trade away picks, we may see some project players. Hey, the Lions do like to grow their own. JDC, Motor City Dew Crew, back at you. Trim Reaper, how about a skipper? Woo! I really haven't fully clipped it yet. Gosh, do I still have it on here?
Everybody. Woo!
Try to finish that today for you guys. All right, Phil. Lions like to fill practice squad with starters. This they do. Kurt Steele, what up, Dew Crew? What up, man? It's Steele. Aaron, morning coach of Dew Crew. I'm not shocked at anything. Let him cook. Let Brad come up with the recipe, 100%. Coach Rock, good morning, all. And that would be nice if we trade was made on the moving up. I guess it's just wait and see. At this point, it is. And again, probably the right person is to fall to that spot for the Lions to pull the trigger. They're not going to make that move if they don't. Courtney, what up, Duke Crew? Greetings, salutations. Woo! Go Lions. Super Bowl bound. Let's see, Damon. I don't think that's it's the Lions management style to trade up into the top 10 for the 28th pick. Yeah, it might be. They've made some moves up before. Remember, they moved up to, what was it, number 12 for JMO? So 10, 12, it's possible. Excuse me. Phil, Micro Mike, find a house. That is, yeah. Let's see, Michigan Panther Bride. Good morning, Duke Crew and Kurt Steele. Morning to everybody. Let's see, Marcus, Silver Server. All right, Marcus, I don't understand. Fair enough. Pierce, good morning, dudes and dudettes. Coach, how's the skipper? Woo, coming. It's coming along. It's coming along. Derek, good morning, coach and crew. I think Brad Holmes may trade up to 15 or 20, but not in the top 10. He may even be able to do that and keep the 28th. All right, I'll go with that. Where are the dudettes at? They're in the chat. Pierce, Stephanie Water, I have seen some mocks where Shimmer Sturt goes top 10 now. Yeah, it does seem like more and more have him going up there. Michigan Panther Brian, is Boss Up Ball Out on today? I believe so. It is Monday. Thomas, good morning, Coach Dan. Hope you're having a great day. Same to you, my friend. David, hey, talk about somebody I haven't seen in a minute. Good to see you, David. Good morning. Appreciate you and your show. It's become a part of my morning routine to tune in as I get ready for work. Well, hey, get ready for work. Hopefully we can help you get woken up and ready for your day. And thanks for that, man. Thank you very much. Thomas, Tib for a third pick. Absolutely. I'll go with that. Yeah, Thibodeau. Silver Server, I have seen foolish mocks where Grant goes in the second round. Boy, that is wishful thinking. Hey, one never knows, right? One never knows. Thomas, if Grant is there when we pick, he's a line. I would think so. No on Kayvon Thibodeau. There you go, Detroit D. Thomas, yes on Thibodeau because it's a third rounder. All right, Silver Server. Goodness, Lions not paying Hendrickson. Yeah, I don't think so either, man. I just don't think we're going to, in any of those suggested trades that were put out, I don't see us paying any of those guys. Thomas, higher than no. Okay, then that no. Okay. Danny Dono, that ain't going to happen. Too much draft capital. Campbell been giving up, and you'd have to pay him big. I agree with you. 100%. 100%. Let's see. JK Brad trading the top 10 pick. I'll become a hobo for the outcome. Okay, I'll go with that. Hobo for the outcome. All right. Thomas, Silver, you nailed it. We're not going to pay Trey and Hutch. Yeah, I think you guys are right with that. Especially if you're trading in the top 10, I think you're getting basically somebody instead of Trey Hendrickson. Derek, I see Hendrickson clickbait is still alive and well, just not going to happen. I agree with that, man. And again, that's why I didn't put it in the thumbnail or whatever today. Let's see, Keith. Good morning and great salutations, Coach Daniel Duke. Go Lions, 14-3, and we are Super Bowl bound. Woo! And back at you, Thomas. Derek, you nailed it. Detroit need too much draft capital for a rental player unless we give Hendrickson a big bag. Yeah, that's what I just don't see happening. Been wrong before, though. Ed, good morning, Dan the Duke Crew. Same to you, Mr. Ed. Thomas, only thing we know is we're not going to be picking 28th. Probably true. JK, it's more like getting Z than Trey. Cut the Hendrickson talks, please, and thank you. Hey, no worries, man. People got stuff to write about, so I get it, man. Brent Hendrickson is a pipe dream, laughing out loud. Probably true. Marcus, Coach Dan, I think the Lions draft your cousin Dante Thornton, wide receiver, Tennessee. He's 6'5", ran a 4.3, could be a sleeper. Marcus, in my first mock draft on the show, I think we've only done 2 so far, if I'm not mistaken. I actually had us drafting him, and it's not because, the last name, although it doesn't hurt, right? If I remember, I had us taking him in like the 4th round. I really like his potential. Mr. Ed, you have to love this organization because as a Lions fan, that was the last time you could say we are Super Bowl bound for a 3rd year in a row. You're not wrong there, man. We're in the conversation. Thomas, I believe we cannot sit on Glasgow at guard. He is no longer a starter. Mahogany will start anyone other than Glasgow at the other starting guard. It could be Giovanni Manu. I mean, you're starting to hear that conversation a little bit, but wait and see. Thomas, Brent Hendrickson is smoking the pipe dream. Might be. Brent's laughing. Kurt Steele, Michigan Panther Pride. Coach Jones gave you a couple of shout-outs today. Hey, we'll have to check that out. JK, Trey is the crack pipe dreamer. There we go. Pierce, Dan Bort being a starter is more of a problem than Glasgow. Maybe. Thomas, smash like y'all, exclamation point. These numbers on players, hate that. Game tape and opponents matter. I agree. Keith, Derek Lewis, I agree. Time to move on. Focus on the draft and our own team, our own players. Go Lions. All the above. Silver Server, man, I had forgotten about Thompson. Other players who got a new life outside Detroit, and some say Holmes and Campbell under pressure. Question mark. They keep going like this. They'll let them walk on roses. Yeah, I agree. They'll probably build them both statues and probably never have to let them pay for anything. I'm surprised they don't get free coffee. Let's see. Coach Rock still thinking that one big trade for a playmaker would put them over the hump that has always helped the other teams win it all when they were close to the Holy Grail. Yeah, and it could be And again, for those joining late, let me throw it up there. I guess you could say the suggested trade, or at least the value on the charts, is this to get the number 9 pick. Lions would give up Hendon Hooker. Yes, I put him on the wrong side, and they would receive 9 and 93. Saints would get 28-60 and 2026 third round pick from Detroit, along with Hendon Hooker. So won't spend all time on that, but you guys get it. Trying to catch them in the comment section here. All right, Mr. Ed. Brad and MCDC are not under pressure. They are putting other teams under pressure. They are under pressure. The other teams are under pressure. Thomas, anyone, exclamation point. Anyone believe Dan and Brad are in trouble if we have a down year? You have lost your mind. See the Eagles year prior to winning the Super Bowl. I'll go with that. Big D, morning crew, what's crack-a-lacking? Just, getting ready for the day, my friend. Trim Reaper, why did the Detroit Tigers draft a Baker? Because they need a new batter. All right, there we go. I see what you did there. Avery T, good to see you, my friend. Been a minute. I think we trade Hooker, but I really wish it would took over for Goff, or I wish we could have picked up Justin Fields. I'm just tired of having a quarterback with lead feet who with just an okay arm. Fair enough. Thomas, the problem with trading Hooker now, what game tape do you have to prove his worth? 0. We bring Bridgewater in, hand off the ball in a playoff game. Hooker's value, 0. All right, I'll go with that. Server, hello to Thomas Downer. I haven't seen you in the comments or something I wrote. Fellow, I usually do something as I listen. On the phone is becoming hard to read, even with glasses. All right, I'll go with that. J-Mo, and yes, I agree with you, Silver. It is getting harder. J-Mo, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Go Lions, deep in Cowgirl country. Woo! Hey, enjoy your time down there. Thomas, Silver, I get you. My eyes are, that's why I do big sometimes. All right, no, not wrong with that. Thomas, I believe Hooker, given the chance, can be a very good quarterback. If the Saints make that trade, they're with you. They're thinking the same thing. William, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. I'm in Oregon and kind of impartial to Derek Harmon from the Ducks. I don't think it sounds like across the nation or whoever you want to talk to, for whatever content channel, they all seem to like Derek Harmon. So you're not alone on that one. Thomas Milrow, question mark, exclamation point, great athlete, but could not hit Megatron on a 5-yard crossing route. Fair enough. Thomas, no one believes you could get anything higher than a 5th-round pick for him. Totally waste. Could be talent. T-Bone Lokes, good morning, Coach. I think the Saints trade would be contingent on Sanders not being available at 9. Otherwise, Mason Graham, for sure. Could be, yeah. You might be spot on with that. Brent, just my opinion, but Hooker is better than any quarterback in the draft, and that could be what other teams are thinking too. Gates, Mike Green, do all we can to get him in the draft. Bring back Z-Man, go Lions, Super Bowl bound. My friends, I like the way you are thinking. Silver Surfer, Hooker can play comfortably for at least 8 seasons. Comfortably, that is, unless he starts running around too much. He's not as solid as Justin Fields. Yeah, might be. I do think this day and age, a 28-year-old quarterback or 29-year-old quarterback is probably got about a decade left, especially if they haven't had 5 or 6 seasons of NFL wear on their body. Thomas Brent, you could be right. Exclamation point. What tape do we have to prove that? That's the problem. I guess the other teams would have to come up with that answer. Rocky, I could make that trade with Hooker moving up to 9 any day. He's just fading out behind Goff. That's also true. Eddie's Fish, who is the Lions going to trade to move up? Well, you saw the, draft picks that we would give up to make it plus Hendon Hooker. Eddie's Fish, hey, good to see you as always. And even though we just talked to you, if the Lions trade up, make sure they draft a player that has good head on his shoulders and that fits our system. Yeah, I think that would definitely be a part of it. Now, let's be real, guys. What tape do we have to prove our Hooker's value is this point? 0. And you got to believe that the other coaches believe they know what they're getting. Rocky, it would take Graham all day long, and Hutch can show him the ropes in an instant. Friends on the team would feel at home, that's for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, there'd be a lot of familiarity. Thomas, hey, good to see you, Thomas. Do you believe that Brad would probably trade Meek or Alex to move up? Boy. Maybe. I hope they don't, just because I want us to be as strong as we can be. I don't want to give up good parts. But to your point, both of them are on their final season here in Detroit. Could you use that to kind of sweeten the deal? I guess you could. Kerry, I'll never complain about getting a Michigan alum. There you go, Silver. If I were Brad, or I'd go to any team GM and ask, you tell me, imagine Hooker's last college season. If he was coming out this year, would you put any of these quarterbacks, Ward, Sanders, ahead of Hendon? That would be a good sales point for sure. Thomas, Here is what I would love to see in the draft. Offensive guard, defensive end, defensive line, not necessarily in that order, but those three positions, I think you're going to get them, Thomas. I do whatever I can to do that. Don't care about the picks, all right? Famous RW, Coach, if Pierce is not taken and will get drafted by the Eagles, we will have to be able to take a risk. It's worth working for Philly, and we get stuck in a loophole as they get better. If he goes to Philly, that's just another incredible weapon for him. Hey, they've made some calculated moves. They've hit on all of them. I can also say you would look at Philly as a whole and say, I think that team is pretty focused on what they want to achieve, and that's keeping the guys together. They're also, I think, paying attention to some personality aspects and saying, while this might be a little bit outside the boundaries, it's enough where we can kind of bring him into the fold. So I think they're making some good moves. Silver Server, that's how you get a good pick. Sell your player, make him look good. I know it is sad. It is. Pastor Brent, good morning, Coach Dan. If we move up that high, he is surely one of the best GMs ever. And yes, it is probable. Lions lover from the West Coast, you're also the best, Coach Dan. Go Lions. Hey, the Duke Crew makes it the best, not me, man. You guys all being here every day, that's what makes the show work. Independent Aquaman, hey, talk about somebody I haven't seen in a minute. Silver Server, hey, I guess you now feel as bad as I do about the Mr. Ed's trying to replacing our men movie roles with okay, yep. Let's see, Brian, time for Z to force to return. Yeah, hopefully he does return. Silver Sir, I am with Thomas on positional needs. Brian Bradley, I'm all for bringing back Ziboom. Oh yeah, I'll go with that. Thomas, if we get Grant or Graham, yeah, thumbs up for us. I'd be okay with it. Silver, nobody. I know nobody cares, but I would pick Kenneth Grant over Mason Graham, even if they were both available. I mean, that I prefer Grant. Thank you. You are welcome. Jordan Raper, still shaking the line here, boss. Hey, all the time. Eddie's Fish, I like Jared Goff. He is a good quarterback. Stop hating on him. Hey, he's done wonders for us, man. We can always say, hey, replace him with somebody else. But if that guy doesn't live up to the expectations and he got rid of Goff, now you've set the team back probably another decade. Yep, I'll go with that. Let's see, Trim Raper. What we have here is failure to communicate. Yeah, I've heard that somewhere before. Frank Tank, I would love it if the Lions moved down, but I do not see the line moving out. So I see it moving back into the second round, getting an extra pick. This team does not need no more superstar people. All right, I'll go with that. Silver Server, Boss Up, Balam is today at 8. We'll see you then. Independent, Jared Goff is the top 3 quarterback. I probably agree with that. Pat, Goff is the man. Yes, he is. As 411, trade Hooker, first round pick 28th, third or fourth round pick this year, and go up in the draft. I think they're going to trade up. JDC, Dre Forge Rocks, Andy Rose, Pat, skip the Bears. We'll go with that. Hooker was drafted to temporarily shut up the Goff phobics, but I don't think he'll be traded unless you have a better long-term backup quarterback. Oh, okay. That too, laughing out loud, says Independent Aquaman. Dwayne, if I get to 9, I'm going to 2 or 3. Man, wouldn't that be something we get all the way up there? Alliance Talk Live, Rock M was being sarcastic. It happens, man. It happens. Let's see, Michigan Panther Prime, looking for today's episode of Boss Up Ball. It hasn't aired yet, right? No, I think in about 7 minutes here. Don Kong, Hooker isn't worth anything. Super excited for Brad to shock us all in the draft. Woo, yeah, I'm going to be interested, Don Kong, to your point, to see what he does do. Avery T, Hooker is going to be a star, and everyone will regret that we just gave him away, especially if Goff has another playoff performance like last season. Okay, it could be right on that. Could be spot on. As 411, but Hooker will be a long-term backup then. Okay, Independent. Let's see, that was Ben Johnson complaining about Goff, laughing out loud. I pity you. All right, Jeremiah, calling it now. The Lions don't pick up an extension for JMO. He goes to Bears and goes crazy. Man, let's hope not, man. That would stink. Trim Reaper, I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. Hey, well, there you go. As 411, remember, Phil Rivers and Drew Brees in San Diego. Hooker can be like Brees, go somewhere and start. Yeah, I do remember that. Phil Rivers knocked out Drew Brees. Drew Brees went over to New Orleans, and we all know it from there. Don't forget the Lions tried to get Drew Brees, too, at that time. Independent Aquaman, Jeremiah, won't happen if he goes to the Bears unless the O-line is allowed to cheat like the Chiefs, or if they finally pass block. There you go. David, can we trade Hooker to move up in the draft? Broski, all right? Daz, as 4-1, Pierce, Grant, ahead of Graham, all right? Moonscar Blade, David, why are you mentioning he would, whose name should not be mentioned? You know, it does seem like every day when David is on the show, he mentions that guy. Let's see, 411, Stewart and Walker. There you go. 4-1, need a DN. Yes, we do. Byron Thomas, Aaron Glenn wants Alex on his team. I would hate to help him. I'd hate to get rid of him or but it could happen. There's Graham, a lineman. There you go. There you go. Thomas Bates. How about a shout out for Jared Goff? I try to give him shout outs all the time. He is our quarterback. Sir Richard, Cool Hand Luke. That was a movie back in the day. Phil, I heard the Lions are looking to hire Coach Thornton as a scout for your front office guru. Probably not, man. But you know what? If they want to hire me, I'd probably say yes. Let's see, Kerry. Then Jake Fromm would be the backup. Might be true. I like Hooker, says Trumps. Yes, it could be. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Before you check out, if you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Other than that, be kind to each other, be a good human being, do something nice for someone you don't know, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.